Hello, this is Timothy Dolan. I'm a former professor of public policy and public affairs at various universities in the United States and abroad, but enough of my backstory. Today I wanted to mark the occasion. This is the day before we are going to get an announcement of the President's Supreme Court pick. And I'm not going to focus so much on the specific pick, other than to point out to those who don't know this, that the Supreme Court and the federal judiciary in general is a co-equal branch of government, along with Congress and the executive branch, with an emphasis on co-equal. So they're not a branch of government to be ignored or to be taken lightly, or even necessarily to be taken as the province of the executive branch in terms of control. That said, we have the process that we have. We will have a president, and we do have a Congress that is going to, in all likelihood, acquiesce to the president's prerogatives. So then comes the questions that should be asked of these nominees. Invariably, we can expect somebody who will be self-described or have the reputation for being a strict constructionist of the Constitution as it is written in the Scalia vein, regardless of the fact that it's an 18th century document with 18th century minds, as powerful as they were. These are 250-year-old ideas and worldviews that created that document. Now, that said, if you are going to follow the strict constructionist line, it's useful to point out that nowhere in the Constitution of the United States of America is there any mention of political parties. Not a single one. It is not hardwired into our system of government under the Constitution. So one has to wonder why political parties have any standing at all when it comes to questions before the court, such as, and very specifically, partisan gerrymandering of districts, congressional districts, which occurs every 10 years, which, by the way, makes the 2020 election that much more consequential, just as 2010 really did shape the subsequent decade around the GOP victories that occurred that particular year, particularly in state legislatures, because it's the states that have a hand in their redistricting. So we can expect, or maybe should expect, can't predict anything, that we will see gerrymandering cases come before the court. Two of them were rejected, by the way, this last court session. The court has been kind of ducking that issue. But it's becoming a constitutional issue because we are getting increasingly partisan in terms of how we draw districts, and the gerrymandering is becoming much more acute. And we have had federal decisions already to remedy some of the more egregious cases. So we can anticipate eventually a case on gerrymandering coming before the courts. So as I said previously, political parties are not part of the Constitution. And in fact, the founders in the Federalist Papers, this is Hamilton, Jay, and Madison, wrote in support of the Constitution at the time that they would make references to the evil of faction. And we should consider this, that perhaps we should look at nonpartisan measures, or certainly that would be a logical extension of a strict constructionist reading of the Constitution, that it be done without regard to partisan advantage. That would be the question I'd be asking any potential Supreme Court nominee coming before this Congress or any subsequent Congress, because it's a fact. And let's see just how strict constructionist these nominees may be. Thank you.